And the challenges there are how to manage the variations of the input devices and screen sizes and shapes. And one additional point is that how could we, and how much we could assume that the developer is coping with the differences, and how much we think that the scaling is done automatically. Security, of course, it's an obvious concern in these devices. And as we now there's the compromise between security and functionality or flexibility. Okay, I'm not a security person at all, so I don't really know too much of the underlying technology. I know, of course, the basics of public key thing, or what they're used for, and so on. And I can understand there's a need to make those mechanisms stronger. But I was actually think that in first place we should first think about how to make even the current concepts understandable for the normal end user. If the normal end user is about to install a game, and phone is asking about something about, do I trust on this application and so on, how to make that actually understandable for the user? So think about that first, perhaps would be a good thing to do for somebody. Then the resource management. It's today in a phone, Java is clearly a second-class citizen. And at this phase of technology, that might be a good thing. Most devices run only one Java application at the time. And most importantly, when Java application is running, when you're receiving a phone call, that takes over and it uses all the resources for receiving that. And in quite many devices actually are able to put the Java application in background, but still the functionality of being phone takes over. And there are some issues on how to allocate the persistent storage. But in general, there aren't too many issues. But things, I think, will change in future. The Java applications can do more. They need to start coordinate resources with the native software in a way that the native software behavior is not disturbed. And then Java applications should be protected from each other, so that even that front we are not having any denial of service double attacks. And I'm just showing 3 minutes, but I'm talking faster, so I think it's ready for questions already. Yeah.
So on resource management first, you know that the isolate work is being recast to work on J2ME platforms, so that there'll actually be an API where the notion is if you're a device that can only run one isolate at a time, well, you can fail when it asks you to make another one. So at least the hope is that the next rev of one of the profiles, and it's not clear which of them, will have at least a subset of the isolate API, and additionally, that will, in its current near-term rebirth, it will also hopefully have resource management, so you will be able to provide resource bounds for bandwidth, CPU, and memory. I, as a member of that group, am really hoping that people like you say, yes, we can live with that, because I don't know an alternative.
Yeah, some of my colleagues are actively looking for these 211 details are API. Personally, I haven't been looking at the details, where it is at the moment, but clearly something like that is I believe that is needed at some point of time. But that's something that we should have a closer look on what it means. But the thing is that there are so few of us and so many things we should look at. Yes.
I have two questions. First is just about metadata. Are you suggesting, or do you manage to do now, the leaving metadata on the server and not actually downloading it onto the device?
Sure, we can do all of that at the moment. Just get on the still incoming Java application is dynamically linked with the underlying platform, and I don't think that that should be changed. Still, there is the major part of the verification done in the device.
I mean, can you imagine a scenario where the verification is done on the server, the cell phone tower, or whatever it is before, and not on the device itself? Would that be reasonable?
That type of scenarios have been discussed, yes, but it's not done. Of course, it also means that then the application can only be arriving through that route, while at the moment the application can come from different directions.
Does Java tend to be one of the main performance bottlenecks on these phones, or do you have other problems like any kind of media application, sound, photographs? Are those much more of a serious problem in terms of performance?
Yeah, that's a good point. In a way, the challenges for the execution time, execution performance are mainly graphics based, and then the annoying things for the user are for the startup time, and that's pretty much true. So there are very few cases where as I said, the execution of the raw bytecodes is a bottleneck.
You mentioned at the beginning of the presentation that you think about the virtual execution environment or the V**** as being the whole stack. And I was wondering if you could comment more on the virtualization. When you talked about sort of longer running virtual machines and multiple applications, there begins to be pressure on virtualization of other normally serialized resources in the device, like the display. Could you talk about the virtualization aspects of the display as it applies to this?
I'm not really sure if I totally understand the question on virtualization of the display. The beyond, of course, there's the need to have.
Talk about security. We talked about multiple applications, the whole stack. It's being able to, a mid-P is pretty much a transient one application at a time sort of a model, but as you move forward, what's the thinking from a Nokia standpoint that can be shared with the team here around what you would do there?
Oh, okay. So to me, that is more like the part of the shared resources and to be honest, when we've been thinking on how to put two applications on the same device, the most complex things are coming from possible races on getting the display, and to define rules on how to control that, and especially if you have to think about the user interface makes sense for the end user. And I don't think that we are having any good solution for that. And it's you can always define a policy for that. The problem is that usually surprises the user in a very inconvenient way.
Sort of a follow-up question to that is you hinted at, but it might be good for the team to understand that when you move to this multi-application environment, that the implication at the VM level is you now need long-lived VMs as opposed to transient. So the startup time matters, but less because it doesn't start up as much. It's mostly started at the beginning and kept going.